Hey everyone, welcome to another week of cooking at office hours. And we're here again with Dimiante Gajar, she's coming in from her home in Cape Town, South Africa. And we're gonna make another recipe out of her book. And this morning or this afternoon or this evening, wherever you are, we're gonna be making carrot and potato patties. So, Dimiante, I'm sure you're gonna tell us all about not only what ingredients are going to go in these patties, but what can we do with the patties once we've made them. So why don't you go ahead and kick it off and show us the ingredients.
Hi, Shannon. Thanks for the introduction. Yes, we are making potato and carrot patties today. So I'll go through the ingredients once again. We're using potatoes and carrots and some spring onions. And then for flavoring, we've got salt and some curry powder and some mustard seeds. So in the recipe in my book, Conscious Cuisine, I say that we should be boiling the potato in their jackets because the nutrients are in the skin, and that is why I like doing that. But because we're doing a cook along and to save time, I decided that we shall peel the potatoes, cube them, then put them to boil so that they'll take far less time for us to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and peel my potatoes. And then to assist us along in the cook along, there'll be slideshows appearing so that you can see what steps you need to follow. I'm using a few less potatoes than in the recipe, but you're welcome to go ahead and use the amount that is in the recipe. So I'm just peeling my potatoes presently.
And remind us how many patties are we going to get out of this if we make the full amount?
Okay, I'll have to do a bit of maths. I did.
Oh, okay. It's okay.
No, roughly. No, not a problem. 6. I think you'll probably get about at least 12.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, because they're not very big. Okay. I made this recipe in the quantity I'm doing today, and I managed to get 6 the other day. Okay. So that is why I'm just doubling it. And so has everybody got their potatoes peeled?
Working on it. And these are, we kind of talked about this earlier, but we are using, it's kind of a medium potato, right?
Yeah, yeah. And we were saying that you would be using russet potatoes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have probably an equivalent to russet. We don't see russet here. So if we've all peeled our potatoes, we're going to now cut them. Bobby, how are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. I'm cutting my potatoes, and since I didn't have boiling water going, I'm just starting the water, but I used very hot water, so it shouldn't be long.
No, if we cube the potatoes like this, it doesn't take long to boil them.
Good.
Yes.
Then do you salt your water or do you just put it in the plain water?
You know, I'm always nervous to salt the potato in case it gets a bit salty. I'd much rather salt it as we go along. I know in a lot of recipes one sees that when you're boiling potatoes, you salt the water. I prefer not doing that actually.
Okay, then I'm not going to salt mine.
Nor am I.
Alex, how are your potatoes?
Is Alex cooking?
I am. I'm peeling.
Oh. Okay.
My camera isn't very good for right now because I had to use a backup. So anyway, I'm still peeling the potatoes. I don't peel potatoes very often, so it's so it's taking a little longer.
I think if your potatoes are organic, you don't have to peel them.
Okay.
And the amount of water we're putting is just enough to cover the top of the potato.
I think I have too much water, so I'm going to pour a little bit of it out.
I don't like pouring water out because I feel it's almost like you're washing away the nutrients that are in the vegetable. So I try to put as little water as possible.
Do you ever use the water afterwards in a soup?
You can, yes. But generally speaking, I tend to put just the right amount of water for cooking the veggies in.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you could keep that water for soup, or I suppose even some kind of stock. So are we all at the same place?
Are we ready to, yeah, I think all the potatoes are in the water, right?
Ready to cook. So we're next going to grate the carrots. Shall we wait for you, Alex?
Nope, keep going. I'll catch up.
I'm with you,
So-
Alex. I'm just, I've got everything peeled, but my water's not boiling. So we'll be at the same
Bobby,
place.
Bobby,
Yes.
even if you put your potatoes into the cold water, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, can I just stop for a minute?
Oh, I'm going to peel my carrots first, I think.
Yeah, my
Yes.
so you said, and does it change the recipe if we're going to only use 3 potatoes instead of 6? The 6 would be a lot.
I was just telling Shannon a little earlier, I'm only using 2 to 3 potatoes. You could use 3 if they're small, because I didn't want a lot of patties. How many potatoes are you using, Alex?
I'm going to use 3.
Yes. So then you're almost halving that recipe, which is fine.
Me
Okay.
too.
Okay. Okay. It's quite a big quantity in that recipe. And Bobby, are you starting to grate your carrots?
Well, I'm going to cheat.
Yes. Yes. Perfect.
So yes, I'm going to start to grate them in my food processor. Sorry, Alex.
That's fine. Go ahead, leave me
Yeah, we-
behind with machinery. I get it.
I haven't started grating yet either. I was peeling.
All right. No rush.
Ugh.
Yeah, we're waiting for Alex to get his food processor.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be waiting for a while.
Didn't mute it. Sorry about that. I thought John had muted me.
How many, if we're halving it, how many carrots? I can't.
Alex, you're doing 3 potatoes. So if your carrots are medium,
Yeah.
can I see your carrots? Oh, those
Yeah.
are big. 2 will do fine.
Okay, great.
Mine are
I'm-
skinny.
I loved what we made last week. And so I'm grating more carrots so I
Oh.
can make it again.
Oh, good, good, good. And they keep quite well because I made this last week and then we went away for a few days, Hasmukh and I actually reheated them and we had them later on for a meal and it worked very well, I must say.
The patties or the chutney?
Pardon?
The patties?
Yes?
Oh, that's what kept really well, or the chutney?
Yes, yes. I kept them in the fridge overnight and we had it the following day and it kept. And
I will
Alex,
say
how are
that-
you doing with making your chutney?
I made it twice already.
Okay.
Since last we talked. I found that fresh, it is extremely good. 2 days old, it's incredible. You know, like two
Well-
2 days in the fridge just really turned it to a whole different level as it marinated.
Well, that's what happened to us because we took it with us. In fact, Hasmukh had the leftovers today, very little for lunch. It kept the whole week.
Right. You know, it was it was amazingly good.
So it's
the
quite
second day.
handy.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And so
Yeah.
these patties, you could use those accompaniments with the patty as well. I'll show you what I'm going to do with a patty when we finish today.
I almost made some more so that I could eat it with the patties because I thought it would go well, but I ran out of time.
Oh, okay. And you know, when I was looking at this recipe again, I was sitting and thinking about what other veggies one could use if you didn't want to use carrot. And I think baby marrow would also do very well.
Sorry,
Say it
say that
again.
again.
A zucchini. Zucchini would
Ah.
also work.
Even
think
though
if-
even though the water content is so different.
For the zucchini?
Yeah.
Yes, because you'll see, Bobby, we're going to give it a quick stir fry.
Ah,
So you could dry, yes, because I understand what you're saying. The zucchini can be quite watery.
yeah.
So if we're done with the carrots, I wanted to chop the, oh, I'll wait for Shannon. I see.
You
Shannon
can,
is-
I'll chop fast. My
That's
carrots were
fine.
really long and skinny. And so they're
I
really
was
hard to
looking.
grate.
Yeah, even Alex's carrots look quite big compared to what I have here.
I tried to find ones that were a little thicker
make
because I
this.
thought that that would be easier to grade. But I do admit that if I would have put on my little grading, blade on my food processor, I would have been done already. So I think that's a
That's
good
fine.
cheat, Bobby.
These patties don't take long to make, so we're not rushing.
It's a lot. It's good exercise. And I'm making quite the mess.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, I plucked this one out of my garden today, so you can see how tiny
Ooh.
this one is.
I love that.
Yeah, and I didn't have the heart to grate it. I think it's going to be perfect, just raw. The
I
other
am
thing I
more-
was,
I was going to say, I
Kelly?
am more selective if I grow something and I pick it, that I make sure I use the whole thing and I try to do something a little special because, I'm not getting lots of everything.
yeah, I think about a month ago, I picked a few baby potatoes, carrots, and there were just a few green beans because the snails decimated my green beans.
Mm.
And I just steamed it together. I didn't do anything. And I think that's such a nice way to have fresh veggies because you want to taste what it tastes like naturally, So I didn't want to adulterate it at all. And just with a lump of butter, it was really good.
Oh, yum.
We ate,
Okay, I might only do 3 carrots because this is taking
Okay.
a while to grade them.
don't rush. We did Swiss chard from our garden and a kale salad from our garden last night.
Oh, nice.
Ah, yum.
So how did you do that, Bobby?
The kale salad, I break into small pieces and then I put lemon juice on it and I work it with my hands.
Yes.
And then I salt it and add olive oil. Then finely sliced radishes and pine nuts.
Oh, that
That sounds
sounds
really good.
It's a really lovely salad, light, but we ate it as a main course for dinner.
And it's not a lot of things to put together.
No, it's again like your recipes, very simple,
Mm,
but really lovely.
mm. I was going to ask if those of you who have the book, were there any requests of what to do next? I have a plan, but I thought I would ask anyway.
Tell us your plan and we'll tell you if it works.
No. I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. Well, I like the next recipe after the carrot recipe. John just stole the book, so I can't look. But it was it the one? Yeah, the corn fritters look good to me.
We did
Oh,
that.
but we did
I know
those.
we did it. I'm sorry. I know, but I loved them.
You can
Yeah,
cook
those
them
are
on your own.
popular. I don't know about you, but my potatoes are already cooked.
How do we know that they're cooked?
I've taken a
Stick a
knife
fork in it.
to
Yeah.
just prick it. I don't want any water in the potato because you want the potato to be cooked, but yet not be too wet. So as you can see, I can actually easily put my knife through there.
Oh yeah, yours cooked really fast.
Mine did too.
Mine are still going. I'm
That's
slow here
fine.
today.
That's fine.
I think the lentil loaf looked really good, but I think that it takes a while to bake, right? So it takes, once you mix everything, you've got to put it in the oven. So that might not be the best thing to make here, but I definitely want to try it.
Yeah, that lentil loaf is very, very good. And it also very nice a little later. It's like Alex was saying with the chutney, a day later, the lentil loaf is lovely. I think if we wanted to do that, what I would do is keep one ready to show you what the texture looks like once baked and just go through the process of actually making the loaf. That's one way of doing it.
I tried the spinach last week after I was very inspired after having all these great condiments. So I made a couple other dishes and the spinach was one of them. And I ventured into making my own paneer, which I've done it a few times, and I think I'm getting a little better at it. It's a little tricky, and it's so funny. You start with this mass, a big bunch of milk, and you end up with very little amount of cheese. But what you do end up with is so good. I think it's so much better than buying it. But it was a really delicious recipe.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that one is really good. But I remember I said there's a typo.
Right.
I think use half the amount of spinach.
And I did.
Than what is recommended. And paneer made at home is just so special. But like you say, if you haven't done it before, you're not aware that you need quite a bit of milk to get a nice size block.
Yeah.
And years ago, I remember when I was doing cooking classes, somebody even told me that they managed when they were going hiking and camping to take the long life milk and make paneer with it. And I tried it. It also works quite well. So, when you hiking or camping or trekking, you can't always.
To explain to people in the US, I don't think that we have long life milk. That is the ultra pasteurized, right? That it will survive at room temperature.
Yes, we do, Alex.
Yeah.
Do we?
It's called shelf milk.
It's in the box.
It's shelf milk.
Oh, got it. I've never seen it in the US. I've seen the little bags in Africa, of course, but I haven't. I guess I just don't look for it there. So
yeah, if you're on the out there in the wild and you can't carry cheese, it's a quick way of making cheese. It'll be like a cottage cheese.
That's
a very fancy. That seems like a lot of effort, but good effort. But I don't think I would think of making my own cheese when I was if I was backpacking or camping. But it's a great idea.
Now I'm caught up, by the way. So I have the shredded carrot, grated carrot, but my potatoes are still cooking.
Okay, not a problem, because we're going to chop the spring onion next.
I have one quick question about the potatoes. So I think mine are done. I always have this dilemma when I'm boiling potatoes, because you don't want it to be watery, but you want them to be done. So would you err on the side for this recipe, since we're going to be cooking them in a patty, would you err on the side of them being a little bit more firm or more like falling apart?
I want them properly cooked, but I don't want them to have a lot of water.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to let them go for another minute.
Shannon, if you take a sharp knife and go through it, it shouldn't resist at all.
Okay. I'm going to do a sharp knife as opposed to
that big knife you got there will also work.
Okay, let me try that.
So while you were asking about recipes, John went through the book and said that he wants to make dream date sweets.
Oh, wow. They are
John loves sweets.
Okay.
Clearly, we'd have to do something else at the same time, since that recipe is really simple.
It'll be very quick. Yes, yes. Shannon, are you happy with your potatoes?
I need another minute, but I can go ahead and start doing the spring onions.
Yes, sure. So I'm just taking off the root at the bottom of the spring onion, or I think you call them scallions. I mean, scallions.
Scallions, or spring onions.
Okay. I wasn't too sure. So I'm using 3 for the amount I have.
They're pretty big.
Yours are big.
But we like onions, so that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. We're going to use the whole scallion or spring onion because the white part actually gives it quite a nice taste. And I've got a bowl of water here, so I'm just rinsing mine.
Macy, are you peeling them a little bit? Or are you
I'm just taking the outer layer out, Shannon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might take a little bit more.
Shannon, I see yours. Okay. I was just going to make sure you don't overcook your potatoes.
Oh, thank you. Nope, they're done. And did you drain them? I missed if you drained them.
Sure.
Okay.
You can drain them.
Okay. Otherwise, they'll just sit in that water and get
Yeah,
mushy.
no, rather drain them and then put them back in the potches so they stay warm
Okay.
because they'll be easier to mash if they're warm.
And then and we're just dicing these?
Yes, the spring onions, yes. Finely sliced, Alex.
Okay.
Are your potatoes cooked?
They're not cooked quite yet. Still a little
Okay.
stiff, but I was
All
pretty
right.
far behind.
Okay. But we've still got time because we're going to chop this and chop the cilantro. Or I'm using parsley because I've got such good parsley in the garden at the moment.
You're just
Yes, just
thinly slicing the scallions.
Yes.
I think parsley is one of the most underused herbs, and it's so good, especially when it's fresh.
Yes.
We put it in salads and just top all kinds of things with it. And I think for years the little curly parsley was always just a throwaway in your dish. But so I mean, we kind of grew up with not really thinking parsley was something to use in your cooking, and it really is.
I tend to enjoy the flat leaf far more than the curly one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We kind of grew up with the curly one, and the curly one really doesn't have much flavor. And I think people just thought parsley, that was parsley. But the flat leaf parsley has such good flavor, and it really adds a nice, touch to just about anything.
Yes, yes.
And you're going all the way through the green, right?
Yes.
It was interesting to hear you say the white was quite useful because many times I'll use the white and not the green.
Oh, okay. I think both parts are great.
Yeah. Mine's strong enough that I'm getting an onion tear in my eye.
Okay.
And do we just mix these with the carrots, or should we keep them separate?
No, keep them aside, Alex.
Okay.
I just have little piles.
Right.
Yes.
Me too.
Perfect. So if we've done with the spring onions, we are going to chop the cilantro, and in my case, it's going to be the parsley.
And can you remind us how much?
I think in the recipe, what does it say?
I can look too. I have the book.
I'm just going to check. I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons in the half a quantity. It says 1 cup loosely packed. 1 cup loosely packed. I just remembered for the full amount.
Right. So when you do cilantro or parsley, do you use the stems as well?
Yes.
Or do you take the leaves off?
No, in this case, I think we can use the stems as well.
Okay.
Because the stems have also amazing flavor.
And it seems like the texture of the stems would be okay with this too.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I feel like I halved mine, and so I'm using about a half a cup then of
Yes, that's
cilantro.
fine. So if everybody chopped their spring onions, their cilantro, we've got the grated carrot.
I'm still chopping on my
All
cilantro.
right. Okay. Hello, Dipti. I believe you're watching. And Dipti is my daughter-in-law watching from Johannesburg.
Ah,
Is she cooking along in the background?
No, I don't think so. Alex, have you got your cilantro chopped?
I do.
Oh,
I was just
So
looking
you-
for, I'm just finishing up the cilantro now. I was checking just checking to make sure there's not any questions. If anyone's watching and has questions, then
yes.
make sure
Yeah, it's a good time.
ask the questions as we go through it.
Could you freeze these afterwards if you wanted to?
I think they will freeze. I always thought that potatoes didn't freeze well, but we recently did something. I can't remember what we froze, my daughter and I was surprised that it froze quite well. So I think they would freeze. I think if you freeze for a limited time, that would be fine. I suppose a month or two.
I think that's the case though with a lot of things. Sometimes the freezer ends up being this place where things just go to hide and then we eventually throw them away. So I really try to make an effort to go through the freezer quite often and pull out things because things could get stuck in there for a year or two. And you don't want to freeze anything for that long.
Yeah, I'm also very bad at keeping a check. And I sometimes think that I should have a list on the door just to remind you what's in your freezer,
Yeah.
Because there's no point freezing if you're not going to use it.
That's right. It just takes up space. When I make stock and we freeze it, we just take masking tape, and in my cupboard I have a roll of masking tape and a Sharpie, and everything gets the date on it so that at least because before I did that, you'd pull it out and I didn't know how long something had been in there. So I try to be good.
Yeah. I also like labeling so that I know what it is,
Yeah. I do too. Otherwise you're pulling it out and saying, what's this mystery thing I froze?
And when you put it in, you know that you're going to remember, right?
Of course.
I know this is vegetable stock and it's 2 cups. And then of course, 6 months later, you're like, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've all learned.
Are we ready to go to the next step?
Yep.
So I'm going to warm up a saucepan with some oil.
Can I use a griddle? Is this to make the pancakes or is this another step?
No, it's a step. We're going to cook the carrots and then add the spring onion and eventually the mashed potato.
I did have out my cast iron, but I realized if we're not, this is a cooking step, so I'm switching from my cast iron.
We're going to need the frying pan when we fry the patties themselves once they're complete.
And so we're adding a little bit of oil to the pan now?
Yeah, yes. And I need the oil to be fairly hot because we're going to splatter the mustard seeds in it.
And about how much oil?
I would put a tablespoon.
Okay, I think I need a little bit more.
So Bobby, you've got your oil on?
I do.
And Alex?
Almost. I was just clearing. I was just taking my potatoes off.
Okay. So
It would
you
really be nice to have a sous chef who cleaned up after us, wouldn't it?
So my oil is hot.
Okay, mine is hot too.
We're going to add the mustard seeds.
Okay. Okay, mustard
How much,
seeds are
John?
in.
How much mustard seed?
A teaspoon.
Teaspoon, so half a teaspoon.
And confirming it's half a teaspoon for the half measurement, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes. And once they start splattering, I'm sure you can hear, I'm adding the grated carrot.
Yeah, mine are splattering.
Your carrots look so bright, orange, like such a bright orange, Shannon.
They are really bright orange.
I think lower the temperature a little bit now so that it doesn't catch.
And is it kind of a constant stir so they don't stick?
No, now once you've stirred them, you can close the lid. Just make
Okay.
sure your heat is not too high.
Okay.
Could you say that again?
I said we must just lower the heat after we've added the carrots so we don't burn them. I just want them to wilt a little. They don't have to actually cook a heck of a lot. So it's just keeping the lid on for a minute. And now we can add our chopped spring onion. And once you've added the spring onion, you can add your chopped cilantro. I'm adding parsley. My gas actually went off.
And then we want to give it a stir.
And now we can add the salt and the curry powder.
In your recipe, you said curry powder or chili powder.
Yes.
Very
if you
different
don't-
flavors.
If you don't have curry powder, I wasn't sure if curry powder is available everywhere.
It is, but it is for me.
Okay, so I was looking on the curry powder packaging. It says it's got dried bay leaf, coriander, cumin, and fenugreek, and a little bit of paprika.
In your
So-
curry powder?
Yes.
Okay, mine has salt, dehydrated onion, chili pepper and other spices, garlic, turmeric, red pepper, yeast extract, and dehydrated jalapeno pepper.
Oh my goodness, but it sounds like a nice blend. So you'll have to add very little so it doesn't
Yeah,
become too
overpowered.
spicy.
It's interesting how they're all a little bit different.
I'm sure. I was surprised that there was fenugreek and bay leaf in our local one. Fenugreek is very high in phytoestrogen, so very good for nursing moms because it encourages milk for breastfeeding. We tend to use the leaf, the fenugreek leaf quite a bit when we breastfeeding.
I love fenugreek. I make it with a chicken that I just love.
Do you use the seed or the actual green leaves, Bobby?
I'm looking to get it out to look at it.
Okay. We can switch the heat off and keep the lid on so that we don't overcook the carrots.
Yeah, mine started to get a little bit crispy, so I had to
So
stir
just
it.
you can take it off the heat.
We add the salt and the curry, right?
Is the salt and the curry powder, Alex?
Oops, sorry.
Couldn't find it.
Oh, I stopped looking because I thought you were going on to the next step.
And
I'll wait for you.
Is it half a teaspoon with the half recipe for the curry powder?
A half a teaspoon of curry powder?
Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
It's white fenugreek.
Oh, I'm not
It's a
familiar
white
with
powder.
that. Oh,
Organic
okay.
fenugreek seeds.
Oh, all
ground.
right. But you say it's seeds, but it's white in color.
It's ground up and it's white.
Oh, okay, okay. So if we've added the curry powder and the salt to the carrots, we can go ahead and mash our potatoes because that's now switched off the heat. And I'm just using a regular potato masher for this because it's not such a big quantity of potato. But if you're making a full recipe, maybe you want to use your ricer. Maybe easier. How are you doing, Shannon?
Good. So
Okay.
it just caught my attention. I was going to ask you how fine that we want to mash them.
They
how
must
finely,
be
but-
fine. They must be
Okay.
fine. Yes.
Okay, because a ricer would make it really fine as well. So.
Yes. Because your carrot has got texture and your spring onion, if this is smooth, it doesn't matter.
Okay. So this is really kind of the glue.
Yes, it keeps it all together.
Once again, I'm going to cheat and use my food processor.
You're welcome. So I've mashed and I can see Shannon is mashing. Bobby's got her machine and Alex, you mashing.
I'm mashing.
I think
Okay.
they look pretty mashed to me.
Yeah. That's once you're happy with mashed potato, you empty the carrots with the cilantro and the spring onion and all the spices into your mashed potato.
It's great. You don't have to dirty another bowl.
Mm. And then just stir everything nicely together.
Okay. Ooh, it smells so good. I would just eat it like this.
Yes, I'm sure you could. You know, my mom used to do this with spinach. It's also quite nice. You would quick sort of give the spinach and some onion or even spring onion a quick stir fry and add it into mash with some cheese and then also make it into patties. It used to be
Yum.
delicious. So, you know, when you have children who don't want to eat these veggies, then it's a good way to introduce them to them.
And is this the point after it's mixed up? Do you want to give it a taste to make sure that your
we're going
seasonings
to
are
taste
correct?
it and then form it into patties. Yes. We'll just have to wait till it cools down a little bit.
I think mine needs a little more salt.
Mine also needs some salt. I'm also going to add a little more curry powder to mine.
Can I ask
Such a
a
pretty
question?
color.
Yes, they are pretty.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
Ken.
So I was
Tony?
wondering, based on the recipe and the way that you're preparing it, could this be used at breakfast or dinner?
At breakfast, it would be great, I think. For dinner, you may need to add something with it.
Okay.
I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a burger with a portobello mushroom. That's how I'm going to serve mine.
Ah,
So then that would be for dinner with a salad.
mine needs salt too. It's interesting. We're all under salt. And I'm also going to add a little more curry powder.
It's better to undersalt than oversalt.
For sure.
Exactly.
And Damayanti, what kind of salt do you use?
I'm using sea salt.
Mhm.
Just fine sea salt. Are we
Yep,
all mixed?
We're ready.
all mixed.
All
Maybe.
mixed.
I'm not sure how hot your mixture is.
Not
Can you
too hot.
handle it with your
Not hot.
hands?
Yeah,
You can handle it?
for
Definitely.
sure.
All right. So we're going to take spoonsful. I've got one of these big tablespoons. So I'm using that just to scoop up the amount I want and form it into a patty.
And should we have the panko out first?
Yes, we can put it in a plate because once these are cooled and formed, we're going to dip them into panko.
Okay, so we don't have to have the panko out yet.
Pardon?
We don't have to have the, sorry.
No, we're not adding it in it. We're going to dip the cutlets in the patties in there. Are you all familiar with panko? Because I've just learned to use them, I think about a year or two ago.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
they've been
love it.
nice and
I also-
crispy.
I prefer them to your regular breadcrumbs. Pankos are much nicer texture.
So much lighter.
Yes.
So how do you keep this potato from sticking to your hands?
If you wet your hands with some water. How are you doing? Shannon, are you coping fine with the potato?
Yeah,
And
my patties are going
Alex?
well.
I'm doing great.
My hands are turning a little yellow.
Mine too, but the water helps.
Yeah, the water definitely helps. And I think that oil we put in right at the beginning when we splattered the mustard seeds also helps a little.
True.
So I think what we're aiming for is equal amount of carrots to the potato, because if you're going to have too much potato, you'll have difficulty forming these patties.
That's what I did. That's my problem.
Too much potato?
Yep,
Well, maybe
I learned.
maybe, Bobby, what you could do is keep half the mixture aside and then later on just make some more carrot and add it to it.
Good point.
So I've managed to get 7 patties out of my mixture. I'm
I've
not
got
sure.
7 patties and I still have half left.
Okay, because you did the full amount, Bobby.
No, I did 3 potatoes.
Oh, maybe your potatoes were very big.
They were very big, obviously,
Okay.
but I think they're going to work.
All right.
But I'm going to do what you said. I'm going to stop at 7 patties and add more carrot to the
Okay.
mixture this next time.
All right. I just want to wash my hands.
I just washed mine.
And I ended up with 7 patties as well. And
Okay.
I feel like I did about half.
So our potatoes must be much bigger than yours.
The one, yes.
This is often why I think I tend to gravitate towards weight.
In
know,
this
for
case, weight would have
ingredients.
helped. Eh?
Yeah, I agree, Alex, on this. Just because if you want to, I think the ratio, since it does matter on how it's
Yes.
going to hold it together, I think a weight would be helpful.
Helpful. Yeah. Agreed. So I'm putting my panko into a plate, a little deep plate, so that I can dip the patties into it.
And are we putting oil in the pan yet? I may have missed that.
I thought
step.
I thought I would just dip 1 or 2 patties in the panko before switching on the pan. Otherwise, I'll be racing to get the patties into the frying pan.
Okay.
Because you do want the oil to be fairly hot when you fry these, so that they don't split or fall apart. And I think the nice thing about because the potatoes are so soft, the panko seems to stick quite readily to it without having to dip it in egg or any other liquid.
So you did 2 and now you're stopping.
What do you mean, Bobby?
Are you pankoing all your
Yes.
potatoes? All
Yes,
your
I am.
pancakes?
Yes, my
Okay.
patties. Yes, yes.
And I was thinking if I was going to freeze these or refrigerate them, I would wait and do the panko right before I cook them.
But would it stick, Shannon?
I don't know.
I would rather crumb them.
Okay, well, it's warm.
Yeah, I think crumb them, then freeze, and then fry.
Okay.
That will work. So I'm almost done with my crumbing. So I'm thinking of switching my stove on if everybody else is almost there. Or I can wait.
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, I
I'm
found that
good.
it was easy to make the patties, but they are falling apart a little bit.
Can I?
Mine aren't falling apart. They're staying together, but I have to be very careful about how I pick them up.
Yeah.
So what you can do is make them thicker rather than flat.
Right. Right.
And then they won't fall apart. Maybe they're also too warm.
Yeah.
They don't feel very warm.
Okay, you're able to handle them?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think if you chilled them before you cooked them, they might hold together
easier.
better.
Yeah, yeah. So you could make the whole mixture and then slightly chill it and form them.
Uh-huh.
And even chill it before you cook them, just because I think that might make them hold better together.
I think that is why I feel quite strongly that when you cook your potato, make sure that it doesn't absorb a lot of liquid.
Mm-hmm.
And that would help a lot, because as soon as you have that excess liquid in the potato, it makes this process quite difficult.
Yeah, and I think that I wasn't sure how far to go, and I didn't think it was ready, but I think I went too far. I left it in a little too long in the water.
Yeah.
Mine held together pretty well.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
So
mine once I made them a little thicker, they worked better.
Yeah.
So I've got my pan on with oil. Any questions so far?
Nope.
No.
Are you just kind of coating the bottom of the pan with the oil?
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
Tony, I see you watching quite eagerly. Are you going to be making these?
Am actually very interested in the recipes, and I am watching, but I'm also cutting. And I'm cutting because your husband made a decision to help me out. So I wanted to help you guys out.
Oh, so you owe him one.
I owe him more than one.
So should we go ahead and put them in? Okay.
Now, if your oil is hot, you'll be putting them in, yes. And at this stage, you don't have to close the lid. You can open pan fry them.
And I can't hear her well.
I can't see, Alex. Have you managed to put yours in your oil?
I've got 3 of them in.
Okay. Yeah, I've also put half. And Shannon?
I have mine in my oil. Yep.
Okay. Oh,
And I'm going to do
looking good.
3 of them.
Yes.
I have them on the griddle, and so I'm able to have all 7 on.
Oh, good. I'm just going to check whether it's brown. No, it needs a little longer.
And I would imagine we're not really, everything's cooked. We're just crisping them up.
It's just
and-
crisping it. Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I think this is a nice addition to breakfast. If eaten just like this with a fried egg or
Yeah.
cereal.
I prefer a savory breakfast. And this seems like it would be a really good filling breakfast and hearty. But I like the idea of an egg over it.
Oh, a poached egg even would be wonderful on it.
Yeah. With a little bit of the yogurt sauce on it.
Or the raita.
Yeah, with the raita on it. I think it would be lovely.
You kicked up a storm last week, Shannon. You made so many dishes.
No, I couldn't stop cooking. I was really inspired and it was so delicious. And I was lucky that I made enough to where we had leftovers, and it was just really good. I think when you start cooking, and Alex mentioned this the other day, that when you start cooking, you just want to cook more.
I think it's quite rewarding.
Yeah. And,
I love it.
yeah, I find it quite meditative. In the morning I get up and I, start with office hours, but then while everyone's coming in for the actual office hours, I go make breakfast for 15, 20 minutes. And it's funny, I was talking to a friend of mine and he just said, "Oh, I can't believe you spent 15 minutes or 20 minutes on your breakfast." And I'm like, well, if you went to a restaurant or anything else, it would take that long. And
Exactly.
and I get exactly what I want every single morning. And I get better at it every morning.
I was quite intrigued when I heard you say you make flatbread. How do you make that?
Super simple. I take a cup of flour, just standard unbleached flour, wheat flour, and I take a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of sugar. I throw it in there. I mix them up dry, and then I pour enough water in until it's right. Like I haven't, because I do it really fast, and so I don't try to measure it. I just throw it in. I start mixing. I mix a half a cup automatically, and of water, and then I just keep adding it until it's the right consistency. And then usually at that point, it works better. The best way to do it is to do it the night before, and then put it in the fridge. So that let it proof overnight in the fridge is the best way to do it. But I can, within 10 minutes, like while if I don't do that within 10 minutes, I can have it ready, you know, and I just have a hot plate. I just take a roller, roll it out until it's as thin as it'll go without ripping, and then just throw it on the hot plate, and it just rises. And so but in 10 minutes, I can have the flatbread with my breakfast. And
you don't put any kind of oil or anything on it?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Not even on the pan.
Neither in the dough?
No, nothing in the dough or the pan.
Oh, okay. Because it sounds a lot like the roti that we make with Indian food. But I do put about 2 teaspoons of oil in about a cup of flour.
I think that it could improve it as well. I mean, I know that the pizza crust that I make, that I actually got the recipe from Shannon, I put 2 tablespoons of olive oil in.
Okay.
Mine are frying up nicely.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, mine are too. I'm just going to do 3 of them right now because I've got 3 people that are going to have lunch.
I use the back of the spatula to pound them down a bit. I think mine were too thick when I started.
Oh, okay. And you're managing to turn them?
Yes.
Good. So are you going cycling after this, or you first going to have something to eat?
Well, we're going to eat these. I'll never get John out of here otherwise. Yeah, they turn perfectly well. In fact, I turned them twice because I didn't think I had browned it enough on one side.
Okay.
They look really beautiful. So Damayanti, are you, how are you going to be serving these?
I'm going to show you.
Okay. Because I'm anxious before I try them. I'm going to see what you do first.
So what I did is I took a portobello mushroom. I put a bit of olive oil in which I had a little bit of grated garlic, brushed it and grilled it in my oven. And what I am going to do is I'm going to put one of these patties in there, put a slice of cheese on it, and just pop it back in the oven just to melt.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
And you could easily do a sauce underneath the patty too if you wanted. You could do a sweet and sour sauce. I had it with, when I took it away on vacation recently, I put some tomato jam that I had made at home.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
And it also tasted lovely. So we're just going to put some sliced cheese on here.
I just have to show you that what I made 2 nights ago were portobello mushrooms that I stuffed with some garlic, breadcrumbs, fresh parsley, fresh basil, and cheese. And they're great. So we have mushrooms to have too. A little different from yours, but good.
So I'm just going to pop mine in the oven. Just so I can show you what it looks like. Done. Oh. Bobby, your patty's almost done.
My patties are done.
And Shannon, you, I know, are done. So Alex?
They are done.
Mine are almost done. Last flip.
And I think you've inspired me. I'm going to melt a little bit of cheese on top, and I'm going to serve these on with a bun, with some bread and a slice of lettuce.
Cool. Look, it'll be lovely.
So I'm going to just pop these back in the pan for just a minute. with a little bit of cheese on it.
Can you see mine?
Yes, they look good.
They look good.
They can be an accompaniment to your portobellos, the stuffed ones you did.
For sure.
It was a good idea doing it on the grill pan as well, so you can get them all on there.
Yes. Almost there, almost there. Just waiting for my cheese to melt.
Me too. I'm just popped mine back in. It's too hot to turn on my oven.
I have to admit, a piece broke off and so I had to eat it. And it was just perfect.
And result?
Fantastic. I'm sorry, John. He's looking at me so sad.
It's amazing how the carrot and spring onion, and in fact, the herbs really uplift the flavor of the potato. You hardly taste much of the potato.
For sure. I think I would spice mine more next time.
Okay.
And since I have half the potato left, I'm going to try it.
You can work around it and see
Yeah.
what works for you.
Mhm.
And what would you add just more, Bobby, would you add more of the spices, the curry powder and the salt, or would you add something else?
I think I like those two flavors. I like the mustard. I would have put more mustard seed in, I think,
Oh,
or
okay.
dried mustard. I'd like it a little tangier. I also think I'm going to try the next batch with, instead of the curry powder, I'm going to try using more chili powder.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
that'll
I'll
make
mix fenugreek and chili powder.
Give it a little bit of heat.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Because this is quite a mild tasting patty.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I'm giving John a bite.
I see your
my
thumb.
producer, yes, my producer just gave it a thumbs up.
Is Alex tasting? Oh, I can see him eating. I should taste mine, hey?
I'm going to taste mine.
Very good. Oh, yeah.
This one that's more done.
So good.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I'm glad I added the extra salt and curry powder to mine.
Yeah,
Me too.
when I was tasting it, I definitely needed more salt.
Yeah, they're good.
So
Fun.
I look forward to us cooking along next week again.
Mm-hmm. This is great.
What
I'm
fun.
having a great time. I just love that I'm just getting out of my box, of the things that I've been cooking. And so I'm just excited to be doing something that I know is healthy and it's not all meat, which I'm good at cooking. So it's very good. Do you know what you have planned for next week?
Well, I was thinking of doing the lentil and tomato sauce. It's a lovely sauce to serve on pasta. But I'm open to suggestion. I love the loaf, the pink lentil loaf in the book as well. So maybe we should have a vote.
I'm looking at the lentil one.
But as I said, if we do the lentil loaf, I'll have to keep one baked and ready.
How long does it take to bake?
About 20 minutes.
Oh, for some reason, I thought it was a lot longer.
If you make it into a loaf, Shannon, it does take much longer. What I've been doing recently with it is putting it in a casserole dish and rather baking it like that.
Okay.
Because then you don't necessarily have to slice it. You can just scoop it.
John's suggestion is that during that 20 minutes, We stuffed the dates.
I knew that was coming.
I had a feeling too.
I'm good with that.
He's fairly transparent, right, Alex?
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to share what I did. I haven't taken a bite yet because it's too pretty. I want to take a picture, but I put my the patty with a little bit of melted cheese and some fresh tomatoes, some cilantro, and then I just did some yogurt, just plain yogurt as a sauce on top. So
Yum.
I thought it looked really pretty.
It looks so beautiful.
I'm not going to bite this on camera, but I will. I'll post in the Discord my my thoughts.
Okay, looks wonderful. It looks really, really yummy.
It looks
Oh, good.
So
You kept yours really thick. I'm surprised.
I did do it thick. I think you could do it thin or thick depending on how you want to serve it. I felt like if I did it as a kind of a burger that I wanted it a little bit thicker, but I think you could, I think yours were a little bit thinner. I think that's almost kind of more like almost more of a pancake.
That's what I made him into, pancake.
Yeah, I think that looks
I was
really
a bit
good
nervous,
too.
Bobby, that you may not be able to turn them, but I see you managed very well.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
They didn't fall apart.
Yeah, I'm surprised, I must say, because yours are thin, which is good to know. Good to know.
So Alex, before we leave and eat our lunch, any last questions from anyone?
We don't have any questions in here. I think people were just watching and enjoying.
Okay.
So it was great. We'll do the same time again, same place, same time. And I'm looking forward to learning something new again next week.
Cool.
Fun to cook with you, Demonte.
Oh,
Such
thank
fun.
you. Thank you. So are we doing the lentil loaf?
I'm down.
Why
for
not?
I'm ready
With
for it.
dates?
And
can
then
do
the
it
date balls in between.
Yeah,
Let's
I
do
think
it.
that's perfect.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Sounds great.
All right. Thanks,
Thanks, Demiante.
everybody.
Thank
And
you.
Thanks, everyone.
thanks to Office
Fantastic.
Hours and Tarlak for helping us with the lighting, and Hasmukh and Nirali. Without them, I don't think we can do all this. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a lovely day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.